Okay, today is May 22nd, 2025. Board of Health meeting joint for the Finance Committee. I called the meeting to order for the Board of Health. Call for the meeting, the roll call. Dr. Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman.
Todd Arsenault, member.
And you have to call the meeting.
Okay, now, do you have any other preliminaries or anything that you do?
No.
Okay, then, this is the Townsend Finance Committee, call the meeting to order at 6:01 PM. The joint meeting with the Board of Health. A roll call attendance, please.
Mary Jane Churchville present.
Gerald Bazika's here.
Carol Hobbs present.
Don Hayes present. Sam, any chance you are online?
Here he is in real life.
Sam, walk in this time.
Well,
Roll call.
Peter's here.
Here.
Okay, thank you.
Hello,
Well,
Peter.
like that, we do 5, we have a quorum, David's out of country, so. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice of you. Quorum, we can continue. The meeting is being recorded, it will be played back on channel 9. And also available on the YouTube channel. At this point, is there anybody else online recording the meeting other than TCAM? None being heard, the meeting is not being recorded by anybody additional. And item 4, the additions and deletions. At this point, I have no additions or deletions to the agenda that was posted. Okay, now I do have one item I'd like to get to before we do the joint meeting.
Go ahead, yes, Chairman.
We, in the work session, we have an opening, on the Finance Committee. The opening would be until the end of town meeting, which is the end of June. And we do have a person that is stepping up and would like to join us for that. It's, Mark Hussey, he had been a member prior.
Do we need a nomination?
We do need a motion to nominate him. We can do it as a vote of the board, and the term would expire in 2025 anyway, so there would be a reappointment.
So he'd be able to come to our meetings, okay?
Yep.
So this term just ends 30 June of this year.
Roughly, it's kind of like, it's, the official is at the close of town meeting, which would be June 18th.
Maybe.
Maybe,
Maybe.
if it doesn't get extended.
Hopefully.
Yeah, no, it's a possibility we have to, we'd have to consider, but at the end of town meeting,
Okay.
the terms that expire in 2025
Okay.
will be over. So,
I'll make a motion to nominate Mark Hussey.
Second.
okay, we have a nomination and a second. Any further discussion? I think most everybody's had experience with Mark. Then a roll call vote, please.
Gerald Bazika's yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Sam Grant, yeah, I come here.
Carol Hobbs says yes.
Don Hayes, yes, that would be unanimous. And at this point, Mark, would you like to declare your present for roll call for the Finance Committee?
I am here, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are 6 members currently, and we'll continue. Thank you. Okay, that's small little.
So going to our agenda, with a joint meeting, for the Finance Committee and Board of Health to discuss budget fiscal year 2026, pay as you throw, trash contract extension and general revolving account. So I presented to each one of the members, a written and more detail of the proposal that we, the Board of Health, have presented on the town hall meeting the last time, and I want to go over it. its new curbside trash and recycling program implementation. And the phase one, 2026 pilot, which the funding will be that the Board of Health will bring an article before the town meeting to establish a curbside solid waste recycling enterprise fund. An enterprise fund isolates revenues and expenditures from the operating budget and allows the Board of Health to retain earnings on funds year over year. Pay as you throw backs will continue for fiscal year 2026 at current rates. The flat fee for the trash will be $125 per year will be implemented. The subsidization from general stabilization fund from $160,000 to launch the pilot program. The pay-as-you-throw grant funds will be deposited in the enterprise account. For fiscal year 2025, pay-as-you-throw expenses to be submitted by June 30th to capture the portion of the $62,000 maximum pay grant will be applied toward the fiscal year 2026 stipend for administration, sticker costs, mailings, educational expenses, and other necessary expenses outside of the Shaw contract. Board of Health will actively seek grants and other funding sources of offsets costs to residents. Note that unexpended articles, it was requested by the select board that the Board of Health look into old unexpended warrant articles to be reallocated to the pilot program to reduce the amount needed from general stabilization. The Board of Health followed through on this request and was informed by the accountant that she is unaware of any remaining unexpended articles. Regarding the contract, the Shaw contract for collection only will be selected for this pilot program. And the actual tonnage cost of disposal in estimated savings of between $30,000 to $40,000 as compared to all-inclusive contract. Municipal trash and tonnage are excluded from this contract. And any and all expenses related to municipal trash will be paid from the general fund. For the month of July, the Board of Health has negotiated an extension of the current contract in order to allow households time to register and obtain their sticker for uninterrupted service. This expense has been factored into the flat fee cost for the year. And the method of operation will be participating households will register for curbside trash and recycling by paying an annual fee of $125. A sticker will be issued to each registered household with a unique identifying number. The sticker must be placed on a receptacle. Any receptacle is acceptable. Purple bags will still be required for trash. Unlimited recycling will be included. And the Board of Health will continue to manage any issues related to pickup for all registered households. Fees will not be prorated. Additional information, the pilot year will be critical to creating long-term stability for our own town curbside trash and recycling program. Through the pilot year, the Board of Health will collect valuable data necessary to set a strong foundation for the program's future. Phase two for fiscal year 2027, the pay-as-you-throw bags will continue in order to allow access to remaining grant funds without repayment. The pay-as-you-throw program did not begin until October 1st, 2024, and the pay-as-you-throw grant was not signed until February 5th, 2025. We are required to maintain the program for at least 2 years, which will bring us up to fiscal year 2027. A flat fee per household will continue with the rate to be set based on the data collected during fiscal year 2026, participating households, actual tonnage costs, etc. as well as the contract costs negotiated with Shaw and any other available funding resources. The sticker program for fiscal year 2026 will remain in effect. Fiscal year 2026 pay-as-you-throw expenses will be submitted by June 30th of 2026 to capture the remaining portion of the $62,000 maximum pay-as-you-throw grant. These funds will be applied towards the fiscal year 2027 stipend for administration, sticker costs, mailings, educational expenses, and other necessary expenses outside of the Shaw contract. The Board of Health will determine what contract option will be the most beneficial to the residents. The Board of Health will actively seek grant and will consider any and all potential funding sources to determine what is in the best interest of the community. And the Phase 3, fiscal year 2028 and future years, pay-as-you-throw bags will be eliminated. The Board of Health will be responsible for negotiating and selecting a curbside contract that is most beneficial to the residents. The Board of Health will maintain authority to set necessary fees related to the curbside trash and recycling. The Board of Health will continue to actively seek grants and will consider any and all potential funding sources to determine what is in the best interest of the community. Toads may be upgraded depending on available funds. Decisions regarding the curbside trash and recycling program will be made by the Board of Health based upon factual data collected during the pilot and transition years, as well as public input and collaboration with the Finance Committee. And I open this for questions. Yes.
Why are you thinking about eliminating the bags? I hate them too, don't get me wrong, but I do find them a very good way to help fund and to reduce the amount of trash we're sending out in the first place. It makes people stop and think, is this a recyclable item? Nah, I don't care, let's just throw it in the trash. So, you know, and it would also obviously reduce the annual fee.
So what your recommendation is that not eliminate the bags at all?
Maybe at a later date mention it, but not at the, you know, maybe at 26, keeping it in the back of our minds as the health department and the finance committee, that it may, we might be able to solve the problem in some other way as time goes on, other than the bag problem. But I find the bags very good at containing, they're terrible bags to put anything in. I don't do the trash in the house, I do the recycling. I stopped doing the trash when we got the plastic bags. My wife is much better at trying to figure out how to get our horse feed bags, which have the trash in it, at least two, tucked into these very, very flimsy bags. I hate to put anything out there as a whole item without it being bagged before it goes in the bag.
Mr. Chair, I this is to you or to Dawn? Okay, guys.
It's kind of like.
Okay.
It's a joint meeting.
Yeah, it depends on where the question goes, so you asked.
About the $62,000 grant, is that grant every year or is that just a one-time grant? It's a one-time grant. One-time grant, okay.
But it doesn't mean there may not be other available.
Other available grant. And did we receive that or what, are we receiving it or?
It's a one-time deposit. I believe we have received it. It's there, but we haven't recognized it yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because if we recognize it and use it and it's gone, and then we'd have to pay it back. So it's sort of in an account, not.
Okay, it's here but not available.
It's right. It's kind of like, and until we've had, I believe that.
And then my second question is during this, this year, this pilot year, first year, are you going to be using a lot of that information to disseminate to the townspeople that the state had recommended originally when I understand that when this program was to be launched, there were kind of rules and regulations set by the state, and they also had pamphlets and webinars and all kinds of educational materials available. So would you be using those this year to kind of re-educate the town, or are you gonna skip over that?
No, that is part of the plan that we have. We have to educate the people and capture the people to come back to the program. And what I'm trying is to convince everybody that this is affordable, more affordable than what they're paying private. And that, and we have to do the education, the dissemination of the information and everything. And we need to capture as much data as possible because we need to have to prove in that goes on with the metrics that I'm proposing on with the program. And with the question with the bags, that's in future years. I mean, we can revisit that again to see if we still need to continue with the bags or not. It depends, but I think that yes, we cannot skip that as part of the grant. Am I mistaken, Carla? We can't, we have to use the grant for the specified purposes.
So it's almost like we're relaunching.
Mhm.
And so we're educating, we're starting where it should have been and
Mhm.
never was. Okay, I think that's very good.
I don't know if there's anybody in the public that are joining us tonight in Zoom here or that has any questions, any concerns?
Saying that in some future date that maybe around 2028, the fee would go away,
No, not the fees, the bags.
the bags.
Why? What was your reasoning?
So the reason is that by 2028, we could probably consider, depending on what's going on, we can consider either raise the base fee for the flat fee. That's why we are considering eliminating the amount of the bags. But again, this is not written in stone, and this is something that can change. I'm just proposing this as an organized plan for the committee to approve and to present at our joint meeting with the select board tonight also, that we as one body together are proposing this to not eliminate the trash, because and this is a solution that we, the Board of Health, are bringing, because we just cannot have a budget without trash. And this is the only way that it's not costing the people. It's not costing the people, and it's funds come in, funds from the enterprise account comes out to pay for the program.
Didn't we have an enterprise fund already? Trash?
There's no way, the enterprise fund that, or it's a revolving fund that
Right.
is set up, is for the recycle center,
Just the recycle center?
just the recycle center. It's kind of like, and so that has been going, the money collected up on.
When that started, roughly, remember?
Yeah, it's kind of
Do
like,
you remember when that started,
um,
roughly? Like 92?
wow, I don't know if it was that far back.
Started in 2000, 2001.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Just for recycling.
right, because back in the 90s, I think it was the old trash, old dump, go up and dump it.
Got rid of everything, yeah.
The real dump.
The real dump,
Real dump.
kind of like, that was, yeah, it's kind of like the recycling center was born out of having to cap the landfill and dispose of it.
And regarding that also it's considering to go with the overflow bags.
So you go back to overflow bags instead of purple bags?
It could be substituted by the small bags to only sell the overflow bags.
I had, so, this proposal, is this, so is this based on so many households participating? And if you don't get that amount of households participating, then what happens?
So this is on a conservative number of the households that we are projecting. I mean, our goal is that once we educate and we we tell the people in writing and educating about the program. Our hopes is to get conservatively this number to work on with our proposed trash program.
Do you know how many people privately contract, or is that something you wouldn't be able to tell? You wouldn't tell that because you don't have any, yeah, you wouldn't have any figures on that. That's true. Okay, but so if more people decide, just for argument's sake, more people go to private for whatever reason, because it's just because.
Probably you're right there just because they're angry at the house thing.
I was trying to be nice and saying, they're angry about fees, but
So they're gonna pay twice as much because they're angry.
Well, and our proposition is, I mean, paying $125 a year compared to how much he's charging, like 45 or 50 per month, I think it
It's the
is.
minimum right now.
Yeah.
So, accounting that compared to a 125, a 120.
I was gonna say, my math, I did 125 for the sticker and one bag a week at $3.50 a bag. Just
Yes.
to get, and you're gonna come out to about $182 a year. So you can come down to about
Oh.
$26 a month
Yeah,
for the, for what would be the town program, basically a cooperative of everybody in town getting together and trying to have a contract that we use as a cooperative, kind of, and that would be about the $28.
$17.50 for a pack of 5?
Yes.
yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
Now, the money, so we're gonna take the money out. The plan is to take the money out of stabilization this year.
Well, yep.
That's a plan. I mean,
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a start.
It's a start.
We haven't gone there
now
yet.
and then this will be a 2-year startup.
Mhm.
Will the Board of Health be able to replace the stabilization, or is that not part of the plan? No.
We haven't discussed that yet. It would be nice if there was enough money in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it sounds like if we're gonna go to just the sticker fee and eliminate the bags in FY 28, it might be running at a surplus potentially. It's kind of like,
I just as soon not promise anything until we see how the pilot program goes
well,
and then start to
Good idea,
rework. Maybe it would be cheaper to somehow get those totes in if they're coming in, a couple of thousand for the thousand, for however many households we have. It might be cheaper to go to those and then just fill out the bucket and he comes along with his claw and throws it in. I've seen it work. It's interesting to drive behind one of those trucks. In fact, I haven't passed one for, last time I got behind one, I just watched it go from house to house. It was cool.
Yeah.
I just, this isn't a question, this is a comment. I really appreciate the Board of Health taking time to do this, because the plan last year was absolutely unacceptable to be thrown down our throat. Within 2 weeks, we had to skip into it. I think that this is an intelligent and very conscientious way to go about implementing a program.
Well, I consider it beneficial because I have a bin for my recycling. That goes out every week, believe me. The recycling does get filled. But the trash itself, I can probably get 2 weeks out of one purple bag. But even assuming I use one purple bag a week, or John Doe and Jane Doe are using one purple bag a week, plus a extra, it still comes down to $26 a month in cost to the general household at that rate.
It's still cheaper, it's almost like half price.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't think there's any argument that it's definitely cheaper.
Well, I just don't understand why other people, decided to jump ship.
Well, I think it was the convolution of how the program was introduced to us.
Oh, yeah.
We had no education, we had no background, we had nothing except numbers, made up numbers.
And it was thrown.
And she said, you're gonna do it, and then you're gonna start 2 weeks, end of story, like Germany. Oh,
it was a series of circumstances
Yeah, wow.
that had happened. One of the first was at the, who's tracking my dates, the August
Yeah.
special town meeting.
Right.
The town voted down $25,000 for the software to add it to the bill.
Oh, right.
So it's kind of like, so as a result of that, the original plan had been to put an invoice on everybody's real estate tax. And with that $25,000 turned down, there needed to be an alternate determined very quickly, and that's where they put
But
together.
the alternative was pay as you throw bags, which they never presented at
Oh, yeah,
that
but they
meeting.
didn't have enough
It
bags.
was not there,
It was
they
the
did not have that plan at that.
dog and pony show,
Right.
Well,
yeah.
yes, but they knew about that plan ahead of
Hmm.
that meeting.
This is just so much better to have something
Because
in place
It
that
is.
we can follow.
Mhm.
And maybe it won't work, but maybe it will.
Mhm.
Because
And-
everybody will be on board and see with their own eyes what the plan is.
I think where we need to go with that is what is the plan if it's not a success? So I think we need to look
Or
at,
Plan B.
not necessarily a plan A, potentially a plan B, but if we start running and we're gonna start running at a deficit, is there a way to get out of it, back out of it before we're in too big of a hole?
I think it
It's kind of like, or we,
It's an annual, if we're in an annual, contract,
you,
then we've got until, after New Year to start figuring out how we're gonna solve the problem.
But we're
Because
gonna
we'll
be
have a
monitoring
good,
that.
we'll have, after New Year's, we'll have a year and a half buildup on how many bags are going. We'll have a year, as what is it, 6, 7 months or so of what's happening now, to start to figure out whether we're in trouble or not.
but I guess the question would be how many, is there an anticipated number of households that are gonna be signing up for this? To,
I do want
get
to
it
make
done.
one comment. This is a great plan for doing the phases and.
Yeah.
For doing
Yeah.
a couple of years and looking out. And this, to me, this is what we, as a town budget, this is kind of what we need to be kind of doing.
Maybe in other areas too.
Yeah.
So correct me if you're wrong, but you calculated the fee on 1,800 households versus the 3,400 that are actually out there?
That come to be conservative, the half of the families, yes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
Do we have one comment, somebody raise their hand, yes, go ahead. Who is it that's raise a hand? Don, please?
Yep, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to speak to the grant really quick because I do have a copy of that and I had read it over and we actually haven't received any of that 62,000 yet. The grant is written for up to $62,000 of reimbursement. So we can spend in fiscal 25 and in fiscal 26. Each year we're allowed to do one submittal for reimbursement, June 30th, end of the year, and recapture funds that were spent on those approved expenses. So the money that comes back for fiscal 25 has already been spent in accordance with what is required and would go into that fund. And then again for 26 to capture anything remaining. But all the bag fees and all of that sort of thing for fiscal 25, my understanding from Nelson is they didn't intend to do any submittals to get that money back until the 26 expenses, which I think is silly to not grab the money as quickly as you can. But we don't actually have that money sitting in an account somewhere. It has to be submitted. You only get 2 chances to do submittals, and it's for each fiscal year period.
So Dawn, are you saying Nelson never submitted the grant application so that we could get the money back?
So the grant is all signed, but we have to submit for reimbursement. It's a reimbursable grant. It's not just money they give you up front.
Smaller thing that we didn't get either. Okay, I get
So
it.
we can do one at the end of 25 for all of the 25 qualifying expenses, and then one at the end of 26 to capture anything left over from qualifying expenses.
So when will he do
Can
that?
do it right away?
well,
Do we know is he gonna do it?
I mean, we're getting pretty close here.
But here's the thing, I think that the town administrator has taken position on things that is partaken by the Board of Health. And that's something that we, the board, will talk about with the select board because he reports to the select board
Mhm.
about that. But I strongly feel that that all that's related to the grant and all related to trash is the Board of Health Authority. And we have to manage that.
So you're saying, for example, that Carla, who's your administrative person, would be responsible for tracking that grant information and submitting it.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean,
There's,
I really
if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
there's currently, $4,578 that was taken out of the operating budget for pay-as-you-throw expenses, and it makes it look like the operating budget was over budget, which we were not, nor were we informed of it. At the end of the year, I asked the town administrator if he was gonna put in expenses, and he said he was not gonna put in expenses this year, that he was gonna do a municipal transfer rather than ask for the expenses through the grant.
Miss Kim Craven, I see your hand up.
Thank you. So I'm going to address the last comment from Carla first. So just to be clear, rather than getting the grant reimbursement to put into the trash revolving fund, he was going to offset your department's line item with other existing line item transfers.
Brian, I was gonna say, that's what it sounded like, the municipal transfer request that can happen within the last 2 months of our calendar year or fiscal year, 2 weeks into that fiscal year.
Well, it's my understanding that those need to come before FinCom anyhow as a joint process between departments, select board and FinCom. So hopefully you all can discuss that then. But having done grants for so many years, I think if you spend something in the fiscal year, you're much better off asking for that reimbursement and keeping that consistent with your grant guidelines and just in general terms, tracking wise, so that with this pilot project, Carla, you'll have all the information really accurate of what was based on the pay as you throw. So that was an unexpected comment based on your comment. But Mr. Chairman, want to be clear based on some of the questions from Mr. Grant, that your first 2 years, next year being the most important, you'll be collecting information as stated of the 3,000 plus households that we have in town. You're basing your program on 1,800 households, which is very conservative. And then you will track that data. And will you be doing any analysis for family size or things of that nature so we can really get a good understanding using the street listings and things of that?
We're placing ourselves in a solid way with empirical evidence and not like on suppositions. We're going to have factual information that we're able to track on based on the families that subscribe to the program. And I exhort everybody in Townsend, believe in this program, believe in what we're proposing, because this is for you people. This is for you people.
And then my other question with that is, based on what I've heard you say, I just want to make sure that I'm hearing correctly, that over this time that you collect the information, jointly with your constituents, you would determine if somewhere in the future it was more feasible to go to a certain size container at the end of the street and do away with the regular bags, but stay with the people that are still using lots of trash with the extra bag fees, similar to what they do in like a Dunstable, where they have a container and then the extra. So that would be an option, but you're not sure yet because you're going to wait till you collect the information to make proposals. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for clarifying.
I have one last question, I hope. So you're going to use Carla as administrator for the Board of Health.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got the most recent budget, she was under the
Council of Aging.
Yeah, so how does that work?
So
Sorry.
that is something that depending on how tonight meeting with the select board transpires, but I was going to ask, how is this possible? Because I was not consulted for the fact that the Board of Health was placed under the Council of Aging. This was something that, in my understanding, was the town administrator. Go ahead.
Margaret Murray, Select Board. The Board of Health would not be under Council of Aging. It was placed there in an attempt, it'll probably be look different on the final, but for union regulations that we cannot give specific information. So departments were grouped together so that information wasn't available. That's, again, I was still new, but the Board of Health will not be reporting to the Council of Aging.
The whole budget is $14,000 less, so if you add it all up.
On all, based on the multiple departments that are included, so there's no differentiation between which department would be coming in, so there's no identification, because that's part of the negotiation, I believe.
But doesn't that make it look like it's bundling? I don't think, how do you bundle different departments together? I don't think it works. You've got to know what.
We do have to know, and so as the talks and negotiations with the union go, as the budget is prepared, I would expect it to be unraveled and each department to have a number presented.
Absolutely.
Again, it's kind of.
How long is that gonna take?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's, we.
So
just-
do we end up like the 1/12 rule?
If we don't pass a budget on June 18th and we don't finish up in town meeting somewhere before July 1st and have a budget, then yes, that's, you revert to 2024 budget and it's a 1/12. But we know that there need to be cuts from the 2024 budget, to continue into 2025. But yes, that's the budgeting policies that are set up. The state runs that way, schools run that way, and we run in the town, will run that way.
So,
Thank you, Don.
I don't know if that's an appropriate question or not. So have the union, is it boiled down to a union? Is that the type of what's causing this, or?
The negotiations with the unions, and the hours. So
But I don't understand how I just don't understand how they lump Board of Health with the COA. I mean,
it's not a separate union. It's not a separate union between them. They would all be members of the same union.
Don't you think that makes it confusing to? I mean, I think
Well,
every
maybe
that's the point.
because every union, every department should have their own administration.
It's the transparency you're talking
But
about
that's,
here.
I guess so.
it's not, it's kind of like, I believe they said in the whole town there's 5 or 6 unions. You have the police union, fire, union.
So,
Yep, that's fine. You were behind me.
it's not just, and I'm sorry, it's not just the Board of Health operating budget, the Neshoba Board of Health's operation budget that is contracted is also gone under the Council on Aging. And the landfill engineering budget, which is mandated by the DEP for the closed landfill, is also under the Council on Aging.
I don't think that's a good
Which
idea.
has,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, so
very
they've taken expenses as well as labor
Yeah,
wise,
so they're
combined them.
They're just combining everything together and good
And
luck.
putting a number with where it is, so it's, right, so as they put together the budget, that's what we need to see, so that it's kind of, and that's what the June 3rd meeting would be. A start, we would expect to see the budget by then, I believe, meetings.
June 3rd?
June 3rd, yeah, so I sent out an email earlier today to see if we can all make it out when we get to the end of our agenda before, we'll see.
Last thing I'll say,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think we are looking at a way to communicate that better. I don't know if it'll be making everybody happy, but instead of rolling departments together, a different way to communicate whatever changes are gonna be needed. It won't be department by department. You can't do that, but not grouping together departments that don't fall under each other. So that can actually. So, better way to look at it.
Repeat that again.
I don't get that either.
Repeat that again.
No, I'm glad I'm not gonna wanna make that.
We're trying to find a better way to communicate that with following union rules, but without combining all the departments together as was done there.
So they're gonna try to separate it?
it is separate, right? It's just how do we communicate?
Well, how
It's,
I
it's separate, it's separate in the minds and the people that are doing the work. but-
separate in their
But,
mind, I
well,
guess.
but that's the thing, it's kind of like, but in order to stay within the union rules and not come out and say they can't put it in. Very similar to the school, when the school comes out and says, if we don't get this budget, we're gonna be here, we're gonna lose three FTEs and we're gonna lose one admin. They don't come out and say which school or anything else. So there's, as you have preliminary talks, you're not able to discuss individual people or individuals within particular unions.
One of those two, but.
So it's kind of like, so that's why it seems a bit of a mystery to us at this point.
It's a very mystery, and I don't understand why we're being handcuffed by this, because how come this, why hasn't it been already done, these negotiations? What's stopping the negotiation?
I think it
Or
was.
should I say that for
believe-
June 3rd? I mean,
We,
you don't know.
yeah,
right?
I believe meetings have begun, between, town administrator and the unions. Oh, yes.
We did, the supervisors union had a meeting a few days ago, and the town administrator is not willing to meet with us.
You what?
He's not willing to meet with us at this time. He wants to wait until after the town meeting.
Really? So. Well,
That's what we were told by our union rep.
And I wanted to present the 4 articles that the Board of Health will be presenting on, I think you don't, I gave you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
The articles, I want to read it quickly. The Board of Health, Article 1, to see that if the town will vote to accept the provisions of Mass General Law, Section 44, Chapter 44, Section 53F and a half, establishing solid waste management as an enterprise fund effective fiscal year 2026. Board of Health, Article 2, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $160,000 from the general stabilization account to the solid waste management enterprise fund to operate the curbside trash and recycling program for fiscal year 2026. Board of Health, Article 3, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $586,000 from solid waste management revenues to operate the curbside trash and recycling program for fiscal year 2026. And Board of Health, Article number 4, to see if the town will vote to allocate all pay-as-you-throw program grant receipts pursuant to agreement dated February 5th, 2025, the Solid Waste Management Enterprise Fund to be used for the administrative costs and other non-contract related expenses relative to operating the curbside trash and recycling program, and to authorize the select board any necessary agreements or documents to receive and use the grant funds. As of this time, I am proposing a motion to this body to as Board of Health and FinCom committee to the presented curbside trash and recycling program implementation program to get a motion to approve this plan as to present to the select board as a joint body as our recommendation for the solution for trash.
Before we go there, I had written, it captured, and just because I know the more, on the participating households, would there be a senior discount offered? If
We could consider a senior discount, yes.
Yes.
That's good.
That's
really good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, again, and then right now the sticker must be placed on a receptacle and it says any receptacle is acceptable. Is there a 64 gallons max limit?
Yes.
Okay, so it is any 64 gallon receptacle is acceptable. Okay, so it just more definition of,
I don't want to measure a 64-gallon receptacle.
they'll tell you.
You put the water in it.
Your bag is a 33. So if
I don't have a bag.
well, you have a purple bag.
Yeah, oh, that's a 33.
Okay, so that's a 33, 2 of them is 60. two of them would fit in your 64.
If you go to the hardware store, they have 33, 45, 48, 64. If you just ask them for a 64.
Why recycling bin goes back to 92 or so?
And you can still use your recycling bin for recycling.
Well, and that would be where the sticker would have to be.
There'll be a sticker on the recycling and a sticker on the trash.
No, there's no trash can.
That is of your choice.
But I think if you put both stickers on recycling, they'll see that you're eligible for recycling the trash. and
Oh,
pick
they're
up.
fine.
They wanna know who's eligible.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I'm saying,
Right, so I think you're.
we have a recycling bin that takes loose stuff,
Right, so
and then the trash bags.
like you'll have
And
two
then we
stickers.
You'll have the sticker, it goes for both.
And the trash bags do not go out until the morning, just before, about an hour before they arrive.
And also the Townsend Ecumenical Council, I think it is, they're gonna work on with the communities to help them finance to also for low income people to budge into it. So
I think those are good notes for
For the people
the
to know.
people to know
Yeah.
on the program. I like.
One logistical question. People drivers may overfill bags as they wanted, correct? Is there anything to stop me putting my bag next to my neighbor's who has a sticker?
There is gonna be some.
Well, the bags should be in a receptacle.
Okay, so it could be outside of theirs.
And then if there's overflow bags that will go next to it, and that's something that we would have to look into, but I'm sure we can work on it.
Okay, cause I know in Tivoli Park, there's a ton of people have no trash receptacles, they just took their proper
Right,
bags out
right.
on the curb.
And that's gonna be a challenge for us to ask them
Oh,
to have a
Okay,
receptacle of their own.
Because I never really thought about it until I started walking and
Right.
there's a lot of people. that
And to
design
answer Sam's question,
use it.
the town at the Board of Health has actually gone for a warrant article to purchase the totes twice, and the town voted it down both times. So,
Well, yeah, but that went along with the fork truck,
The single.
Yeah.
the single driver truck.
but there's
and-
grants available for those,
oh,
which we would certainly look at, and $10 to $15 per household would be available, so. You're looking at a great deal of money that you could have grant money for those totes.
do anything. We'll put in.
So can I get I present a motion to recommend the new curbside trash and recycling program implementation. Can I get I present it as a motion to present it to the select board and to the people as our solution for the trash program, trash situation.
Are we voting all together like a group,
Yes.
a group vote? Do you
Well,
open it?
it's listed separately on the,
Well,
what you recommended.
my comment,
I guess I heard a number when, Kim Craven was speaking, of how many homes is expected?
so roughly 1800s is what we conservatively are.
Yeah.
And if it is more, which I expect it's gonna be more, then it's, I know that the people are going to subscribe to the program because it's way cheaper and I don't wanna pay more for.
I just,
Oh, he's back. Thank you, dear.
okay, thanks very much, DCAM, we appreciate it, Rick. And we should be,
We adjourn meeting, Board of Health, joint meeting with Fine Committee, we adjourn at 7:02 PM.
Okay.
Finance Committee is back from recess at 7:02 PM. We don't, we need to continue, on the article, and I guess I'm okay with the article, the motion that would come with the article will also set the amount of the fund that is can be spent like 800,000. So motions are separate from the warrant articles. Warrant article establishes the intent for who are setting it up. But generally with revolving accounts, we set a value.
So regarding,
Similar to this, I have the warrant article, it's the warrant from the. So they were reestablishing, and when they did the one for town hall, for the clerk. They set it up and they set this, what the spending limits was.
so my understanding is that we wanted to, initially we were talking about a revolving account, but we wanted to enter the enterprise account.
Okay,
And which it would be more suitable for the purpose that we have here. And regarding the document that I presented, it's not a perfect document, it's not written in stone. And I mean, this can change, right, based on the data that we have, but at least we have something in writing that we can recommend and that people can have as a structure or organized.
Well, usually you got line 1 and phase 3 in there. Promise you, you just guaranteed to them that you will delete the bags without, knowing that it needs or does not need. That's the way the people think. I'm sorry. They see pay as you throw will be eliminated. That's all they see.
But change will
I
be
mean-
made.
Bag.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But the
There
word
you go,
pilot
one little
also
word.
doesn't mean it's
That's all.
permanent.
Mhm.
But we're trying that way, it doesn't work.
Either way.
So,
That's why it's based on pilot.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe Carol's right, maybe you should change it from will to may.
Or not at all. Or just delete the one line and everything else is perfect, because it also says down here, the last bullet point is, as the curbside goes on and the pilot goes on, we will be reconsidering the whole thing. We said that several times along through the thing. So therefore, that's one of the things that can be kept in the back pocket that you'd like to pull out if practicable.
So
By just slicing that line out.
what I'm hearing is that we should eliminate the line that says that the pay as you throw bags will be eliminated.
Right, and just delete that line, and as time goes on, you can bring it back to the public and say, all the numbers pushed around here and the way we've been doing it, we can get rid of the page bag limit.
First thing people are gonna ask is pay us back.
Yeah, well, we'd like to get rid of it, but
That's why you should put may.
Yeah, we're just trying to make people feel good.
May.
May, so,
May.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, I don't.
to May, and
Yeah.
that gives you the option
Option.
of.
Plus now put a line through it and initial it.
that's
Whoever
right.
finds it. We don't have to
Yep.
type it and re-copy it and spend the rest of our life
Yeah,
doing
I
this.
mean,
Well, can we add it that bags may be eliminated then?
Yeah.
Do we agree then?
yeah,
Considering the possibility, it'll we'll cover that.
we're gonna ask about the bag.
That's right.
So as long as you have a statement in there that says they may be eliminated, that tells them that the bags is,
We're thinking about
we're thinking about it, it could still be on the table.
Okay,
Maybe
Okay.
it won't be, maybe we could eliminate it, but then you're not gonna get 6 questions, what about the
Okay.
bags?
Exactly.
okay. So with that change, can we get a vote on the new curbside trash and recycling program implementation plan?
Should we do it individually?
Should Board of Health put it and then us?
I think so, yeah, the way.
So you already made your motion for the Board of Health, right? Did he? He did.
Here's motion, I'll second it.
I'll vote in favor. Christian Ramirez, Chairman.
I also vote yes. 5 votes.
All right. Great.
Okay, and the finance committee, do we have a motion?
Motion to accept the, same motion as the, Board of Health has made.
As amended?
Yeah. It's
Carrie.
As amended?
As amended.
As amended.
Thank you.
As amended, okay.
I'll
I
second
didn't
that.
wanna have to repeat that.
Okay, so you get a motion and a
I
second.
second, Carol.
Okay.
Any further discussion, questions?
Oh, I think we started buried that one.
Okay, and roll call vote in for me, and Mark, he has been voted, but it needs to be signed in, so before, we can't.
So Mark can't vote.
Mark can't vote on this one,
But he wants to vote yes, just in case anyone wants to know.
Gerald Mazeika, yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Sam Grant, yeah.
Sarah Hosses, yes.
Don Hayes, yes.
Yes.
Initiate here. Yes.
It was good.
Well, we extended the time rule.
Okay. Thank you. Any you doing copy for FinCom, please? Can I get a motion to adjourn tonight meeting?
Second that.
Okay, and before we leave, we need to set meetings, so we have
Yeah.
June 3rd,
Right.
Well, they can go, right? When they have to stay in one.
No, I don't have to say I want that, I don't think.
I don't think so, but no, yeah, you can take your breaks because you're meeting at 7:30.
Yes, we're meeting at 7:30,
You're
yes.
going upstairs.
Yes.
So we have June 3rd.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Just make the motion and second, we have to vote, isn't it two?
I second it.
No, he
Oh.
tried seconded.
So now you
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
I didn't know Robert was here. Where's he hiding? Oh, you've taken over his position, eh?
Oh,
Roberts.
which rule?
Oh, Robert's rules, yeah.
Either that or the
Okay, do we?
Red Pirate Roberts.
I don't know that we have, do we wanna?
Are we still being recorded?
We're still in the meeting, so we're gonna set a meeting, we're doing June 3rd, which is next.
A week from Tuesday.
But that's gonna be a joint meeting with the Board of
It
Selectmen,
is,
correct?
yep.
We need our own meeting, how about Wednesday or Thursday, is anybody available?
Next week,
Well, I know, I'm available, period. I mean,
28 or
I've done my
29.
graduations. I knew I was getting.
28, Wednesday, might.
She'll find me.
Carol's, oh, you're good, same day?
Most likely.
Okay, I'm good.
The 28th, I could do 6:30.
Is the 29th.
Okay, Valerie, just 29th good for you?
Thursday at 6 o'clock is, okay, the 29th.
Okay.
Do 6 o'clock.
All right, let's do that.
So you want to do the next meeting, the 29th?
Yes, please.
We can.
That's not a joint meeting, it's a regular meeting.
It's us,
That's-
just
Just a
us.
regular meeting.
Yeah.
Can we do executive session so nobody knows what we're doing?
We can if we have something to discuss.
Oh, we will.
But we have to put it in.
Oh, we have to put on.
We have to put it on the agenda, so it's kind of like if we have something to discuss.
I get it, yeah.
It would be on the.
MAY 29CH
Yeah.
1800.
1800.
1800.
Okay, so now do you want to meet?
Boy, I haven't heard that
You
since I
want to be,
retired.
Room
The-
2?
Well,
I can check. You
I'm
like that?
trying
You
to
like-
keep my daughter and somewhat my
Either one is
wife
good for me.
to be bilingual,
Warmer down here.
Okay.
American and world, not military, it's world.
It should be.
Yeah, well, see, I worked for the military.
That's fine, so did I for 4 years.
Correct.
Well, I worked for them for
Do we want?
40
I would almost did, but some
This thing
in Washington
we-
stopped the war in Vietnam.
Yeah, because then we can rehash what they presented.
No, I wasn't,
Okay,
because they stopped it,
Which would be Thursday.
they were downsizing
Okay,
the
that
service
was
instead of late 75.
And
Oh.
we
When I
might,
needed to decide whether to
might
be up or
revisit
not.
it again with the Board of Selectmen.
And so therefore, they're cutting people all over the place, especially people you highly, honor, your superiors.
Oh, you mean,
Didn't look
right
like there
before we
was
go
any.
on stage?
A week before.
Stay-
Yeah, so-
The reserve.
So I'll see if they're doing the
I
check.
did them for 2 years, but that was a waste of
And they're
time.
doing.
They didn't have my rate or, the transfer to another rate. Finally sent me to Willow Grove after sending me to a
Or
couple
we can do.
little reserve
Honey,
centers.
well,
I can't do
So,
12.
Okay.
and I was running my own business at the
What do
time.
we go on? How many
So we'll do
meetings
this,
are we doing?
we'll put. The 10th.
Because I won't be here on 12, unless you want to do it without me, which will be.
Okay, so we're
Warren.
doing another one on the.
Oh. June what, would you like?
Wait, So we have May 29th,
Yeah.
June 3rd, joint with the board. of
Right, I got that one in
Selectmen.
already.
Yeah,
June 5th, I back again for finance only.
Just us.
Just
June
us.
5th.
And then, yeah,
by
try to keep them to Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
do 6 p.m. again?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay,
That's about as optimal as you
And
can
then
get.
we're thinking we might do a second joint with the board of selectmen if necessary. on that.
We'll see how they treat us.
And we have the 18th. Yep.
When that time comes, this beautiful little paper you sent just before the town meeting,
Okay.
the last meeting before the town meeting, this one here.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
that's the
Yeah,
financial one.
That's the recap. That's.
Yeah, I was very curious. Okay, that's the one, that's not even the right one. Come on, I can't lose it that fast. Yeah, here's the income right now.
Yep.
Okay, are we actually getting the 2.5 property tax increase this year?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because that's the max.
At the last town meeting, she was saying, oh, it's only 1% or something. I don't know what she was talking about.
something else.
This, they have, they have a percent. There was an explanation somewhere about a week ago that I heard. When they mentioned the 0.5%,
Uh-huh.
it's that this year's budget is only 0.5% higher than the budget that was approved in August at that meeting,
Uh-huh.
because we added $1 million into the budget at that meeting.
Uh-huh.
So that's where we can, we're putting the 2.5 levy on the
Right.
tax income, but there's just this 0.5% is about the total budget. So that the total budget doesn't go up by the 2.5%, but the levy does.
Right.
It's kind of
The
like,
amount of money available in the bank to pay for all the stuff.
right, yeah.
Because 99% of the, or 98% of the time, we always talk about what everybody's spending.
Mhm.
And
Right.
these numbers are very important for me.
Yeah, because, right, that's how you balance what's in the omnibus budget
Right.
with the, and again, there's also other things that are in there that we see on the recap. All of the articles that we're voting on. So the omnibus budget comes in, but then we have the items like the HERO Act and things
Yeah.
like that we haven't got to on the warrant articles. Those have to be accounted for. If we don't account for them, because they're not accounted in the omnibus budget, they're only on the recap. If we didn't account for them and have a number in there,
Uh-huh.
you'd be out of balance at the end of the meeting if you approved that and didn't have it in the budget.
Right.
So that's why it's very important to see the other additions and deletions on the budget, on that form. It is very informative to make sure you have a balanced budget and everything is gonna get paid and will balance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No problem.
we have, well, 4 meetings plus the annual town meeting on the horizon, which I.
Four, I got down May 29th, the
Yeah.
3rd upstairs.
Yeah.
The 5th.
Yeah.
And that's the last one I got on.
Okay, June 10th,
Possible,
possible, It's
and
kind
then the 18th.
and the 18th is the annual town, their annual town meeting. Being,
At the high school. right?
that's at the high school right now.
Right.
Yep. Yep, and again, be prepared for a long night,
Mhm.
kind of,
So I should just come after the dinner.
yeah, maybe, we'll still be there. It's got, I say that because the next day is federal holiday,
Oh, it
and
might
so-
be then. No.
then,
Oh, Juneteenth.
right, it's kind of like, so.
Not my holiday.
But it is a state holiday and schools are closed and town halls are closed and the state is closed and federal government is closed. So we have to make sure, I'm just saying.
Bring an
it might
extra
be-
chair.
Yeah, bring a chair and a pillow.
You're gonna advertise, if you're gonna celebrate anything, then celebrate the 13th Amendment.
So we, do we have any, if there was nothing else on the agenda, so at this point, I would entertain the motion to adjourn at 7:16.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those,
All those in favor?
aye.
So we're not gonna discuss anything.
All right,
No, we're
We're
all
gonna
set,
wait
PCAM.
and see what the
Finance committee meeting.
finance commission.
That's your.
No, we boil. We
It is, I didn't know who on that.
Did he hear what on?
I, maybe. Um,
I have my list
Good.
Your list for what?
for the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna do it tonight,
But
but
you can give me that and I'll get
You're
it.
gonna send us a copy. So we
I'll send it to.